We're studying IGCSE for English as a first language, and we're starting writer's effect. What is the meaning of this? Well, this is exactly paper one. In paper one, you'll have a comprehension, right? In that comprehension, you'll be asked questions mainly on explicit meanings, implicit meanings, and the last things are effects on reader, or let's just say effects and influence on reader. All right. Now I'll show you how we do this. Let's start with these three. Now, Rachit, read this out loud. The three things you'll be asked in exam in paper
Yeah,
one.
sir. Paper one, comprehension, explicit meaning, influence on reader.
All right. Influence on reader. Write this in your notebook quick. Now, do you know the meaning of explicit and implicit?
No.
Now, this is from your syllabus booklet that Cambridge gives you, right? Everything we study is based on the exam, right? Because we are preparing for the final exams. Now, this is what's given. Your written text, word phrases, and everything. That's fine. Let's look at this part right here. How writers achieve their effects and influence readers. This part. And respond to linguistic devices, figurative language, and imagery. Perfect. Now we'll start with what this means. Explicit and implicit. Write in your book. The meaning of explicit is something that is shown clearly. Let's write the meaning right here. Explicit means shown clearly or stated clearly in detail. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of implicit? It's the opposite. Something that is not stated directly. So implicit means, let's just say clearly and in detail, stated clearly, directly, and in detail. And stated indirectly, that's it. And implied. Now, Rashid, do you know the meaning? Do you know the meaning of implied?
So implied is like amplifying something.
No, implied means, or implying, or to imply means to suggest. Is that clear? So explicit is something that is directly shown. Let's say, Rashid, if I have a picture, right, and there is the sun like over right here, I'll show you actual image, not this drawing. Write this in your notebook quick. This thing and this thing quick. Hurry up. And the next thing we're looking at is Rachit, if you look at this image, can you see this image right here on the screen?
Yeah, sir.
Now, can you tell me, is it day or night?
Day.
Day. All right. Just a second. Now, can you tell me, is it day or night in this image? Just a second. Let's say this image. Is it day or night outside? Rachit.
So it's a day, sir.
It's day because look at the shadows right here. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now these are the shadows which are coming from the windows. Perfect. But the issue is, or not the issue, but the main important feature is that over here you can directly see the sun right here. But it's not so direct here. You have to look at something else and realize what is happening, right? So what this means is if I write this in letters, like in a sentence, I would say the sun is shining, let's say the scorching sun is shining without mercy on the let's say drought-ridden rivers. Now that's the first thing. Rashid, read the sentence. Can you tell me that is it day or night from the first sentence?
Sir, day.
Day. Now let's just say uh, bright and vivid. Let's just say bright and flagrant or vivid shadows emerged from the window. Now over here, can you tell me is it day or night? In the second sentence.
Sir, we can't say if it's day or night.
Now we can say it's bright. It's bright, right? Let's say bright rays emerged from the window when he surfaced. Let's say swiped away the curtains. Now can you tell me?
Sir, it's day.
Day. Now the thing is, over here we're using the word sun, which is direct, but over here it's not really direct, right? We're using rays and windows, right? Or basically curtains and windows to tell us that it is actually day. So this is a bit indirect, indirectly, and this is direct. Is that clear? Or directly stated?
Yeah, sir. Okay.
Now, this is not what's happening exactly in the writing. The writer will use some kinds of literary devices, right? And with those, he will be able to tell you what is happening or what is he trying to tell you. In this second sentence, he's trying to tell you it's day, but he's not saying it out loud. He's saying it implicitly. But in the first sentence, he's saying it explicitly. Now let's look at some these how does the writer do all of this? Now one way of saying things indirectly is by using something called literary devices, also called figurative devices or figurative speech. Let's look at literary devices. Now literary devices, fine. The first one, simile. To use as or like. Well, instead of writing use, let's write to compare using as or like. All right. So it's a comparison. Let's just say comparison using as or like. Clear, Rachit? Any doubt in simile? Any questions?
No, sir.
Now the point is in simile, find simile is easy. The spelling is wrong though. Let's check the spelling. Now, metaphor. Metaphor is to use. No, Rachit, this is wrong. All right. Did you write this by yourself or did your teacher tell you this?
Sir, by myself.
All right. What are the other 15 that your teacher gave you?
Sir, the literary devices my teacher has given me, the meanings I have written.
Oh, okay. Now that is not good actually, right? I want you to do one thing quickly. I want you to basically rewrite them. All right? Quickly.
Okay, sir.
Let's start from the because this is wrong. It's not you don't use like in metaphors. And I'll give you a few more things like the uses and the effect. All right. Let's start. Literary devices. We start with let's start with these guys first. Let's start with anaphora, all right? Because you've done that already with correctum data, but start with something new. Anaphora. Now, do you know what anaphora means? Anaphora is basically the repetition of a word in the beginning of a sentence. So what is it? Now, quickly write this in your notebook. First, read it out loud. Quick, hurry up.
Yeah, sir. Anaphora. Repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive sentences, phrases, or clauses.
Write this in your notebook. Hurry up. Now, what are the effects of this? Right? The effects are, first thing is emphasize. To emphasize something. All right. To emphasize, let's say, to convey, emphasize, and reinforce the purpose. Now read it out loud. The effects.
Yeah, effects. To convey, emphasize, and reinforce the purpose.
Now, okay. Now let's see. Let's take an example, shall we? You know who Charles Dickens is? Rachit, do you know who Charles Dickens is?
No, sir.
We'll look at an example of his writing. Don't worry. This one is basically an extract I got from a book on Charles Dickens, right here, by Charles Dickens. I think this is basically Tale of Two Cities. Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Now, do you guys read books in school? Do you get book assignments? Reading?
Sure, it's like we have a library and it's like we have one period in the whole week. So we have to choose one book, keep it with us, and we have to read it the whole week. And then the next week we have to write like a summary of what we have read in this week.
All right. That's perfect. That's good. So I like that. You should every week please get a book and tell me which book you're getting. What was the last book you got?
So the last book I got was months ago, sir.
That's not good, Rashid. I'll tell you a book.
No, it
which you
was
have to
not
get.
like that.
I see.
Sir,
Because you had holidays.
yeah.
All right. Exams, I think,
And
right?
sir, it's like we have
Yeah,
a set
go
of
on.
books that are available for only this certain grade. So it's like we can't take some grade lower than us and some grade upper than us.
All right. Never mind then. I'm going to send you books to read every week. One. Fine. You have to read them. At least a few pages. Now start reading from here. Quick.
Yeah, sir. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the edge of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. Sir, what is that? Epoch?
Epoch. Epoch. What is the meaning of epoch?
Epoch.
Well, epoch is basically, let's say, do you know what is the meaning of epitome?
No, sir.
All right, I'll tell you. Now, epoch is basically, uh, epoch means a period in time. Right?
Epoch of period.
Write this in your notebook.
Yeah, sir, right here.
Let's just say a particular period in time, to be exact. Right?
Done. So, it was the epoch of belief. It was the in darkness.
All right. Now, can you see something that is being repeated? Any repetition of any phrase or anything which is being said again and again?
It was.
It was exactly the state of first write the meaning of incredulity. Incredulity. The meaning of incredulity is basically the state of being uh, unable to be, let's just say unable to believe. Unable of believing. Or state of being unable to believe something. Now, quick. Now we see that something is being repeated, and that something is basically it was. Now, why is a reader doing this? Why is he repeating this? Now, Rachit, can you please tell me what was the effect this thing has and Afra has on the reader? Quick, read the effect again.
So the effect is to convey, emphasize, and
Reinforce. So what's happening here is, I'll write a commentary here or comment, okay? And the comment which I have to give as a student in IGCSE, you have to be a good student. You have to be pretty clever in these kind of things. You have to be intelligent. I think outside the box. Now, comment would be, but through repetition, repetition of the phrase, it was, the reader, or let's just say the writer, reinforces that, or reinforces that actually he's actually describing the past. Read it out loud, Rashid.
Yeah, comment. Through repetition of the phrase, it was, the writer reinforces that he is actually describing the past.
All right. Now, another thing we need to see is, and after that, what other he has is, now look, another way is to engage the reader. Or additionally, the writer engages the reader. Is that clear?
Yes.
So, any questions so far in Anafra? Can I continue? You have to write
No,
this
sir.
part down. This part and this part. Fine. Now, the next thing we're looking at is going to
Sir
be
already wrote.
wrote. Perfect. Let's start with meiosis. Is that what you want? Okay, let's try that. Meiosis.
Okay, sir.
Now, what do you know so far about meiosis?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing. All right, then I'll tell you. Now, what we need to know is, just a second. Let's write it here. Now, meiosis is basically to make something smaller, right? Let me just write it here. What is the meaning of meiosis? To, let's say, to diminish or to make smaller. Write this in your notebook. Now, this is second one. Now, why? What does this mean? It is, let's say, it is an understatement. That belittles, or let's just say, remove the first line actually. Write it like this: that belittles or dismisses something. To show, let's just say to show that it is that the thing is less important. Fine. We'll write one more thing, which is opposite of hyperbole or exaggeration. That's it. Now we look at the effect. What is the effect that this has on the reader? Effect is, well, the job of this thing is to basically highlight or understate or highlight. I just say understatement to highlight a point, highlight, explain, or enhance effect of a dramatic moment. Now, Ratif, read it out loud once.
Yeah, sir. Effect, understatement, or highlight, explain or enhance the effect of a dramatic movement.
Right. All right. Now to enhance the effect of dramatic moment. Now, what we need to see here is, let's go from here. Let's look at an example right here. Just a second. Finish writing first and read the example here. That's it. First, read the example. Quick, read it.
Yes, sir. Example, I am a very foolish, fond old man. 4 course and upward, not an hour more or less. And to deal painfully, I fear I am not in my perfect mind.
All right. Now, our job is to basically, it's also used for, just a second, effect is also to create humor or drama. Now, anything else? Anything else? Yeah, humor, irony, or drama. Done. That's it. Now you read this, right? Now we'll realize that I'm a very foolish, fond old man. That's just what is he telling us over here? What is the character telling us?
So that this person is foolish and he thinks that he's not in his perfect mind
Not
or
in his
he's thinking
perfect mind.
something else.
All right. You know what this is from Shakespeare. What is this from? Where is this from? Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Now, fine. Now he's telling us this. Now the book is called King Lear, and you know what the story is. Well, the story is that the king is actually becoming mad. What is the king becoming? Insane. Let's write the comment. The writer creates humor or irony by understating, or let's say through the understatement, through the understatement which is what was it? I fear I'm not in my perfect mind. This line, okay? By the understatement, I'm not in my perfect mind. When in reality, the king is becoming, let's just say, insane and mad. Now read the comment, Rachit.
Yeah. The ride creates humor or irony through the understatement. I fear I am not in my perfect mind. When in reality the king is become insane
Let's
and
not
mad.
become, it's becoming, right? Insane and mad. Now look, if you're insane and mad, and if you say, well, I'm not in my perfect mind, isn't that like an understatement? Let's say if someone, there's another example I can give you. Look, uh, the person uh, beat, let's just say, the person beat the thief to a pulp. Okay, or let's say the gangsters beat the thief to a pulp. However, upon inquiry, they stated, or let's say, upon inquiry, they stated, we just, or let's just say, we gave him a push. Now look, is this not an understatement? Read this, read the second example.
Yeah. The gangster beat the thief to a pulp. However, upon inquiry, they stated
stated,
we gave him a push.
push. All right. Now look, isn't that funny? Because they beat him, they bait him to basically to a pulp. All right, they beat him to a pulp. And when you ask them, they're just saying, well, we just gave him a push. That's like that's kind of funny, isn't it? Because it's an understatement. Because that's not what happened in reality, and they're just it's giving an understatement right here. Exactly, the same thing's happening. The king is actually mad. He's not he's not, let's say, uh, sick or something. He's completely mad. And if the king is completely mad and he's saying, "Well, I'm not in my perfect mind," that is an understatement. You understand? That's any
Yes, sir.
questions?
No.
Now you should write the first two down. Right. Now my goal is to make sure that you understand it, that your writing gets better as a whole, not to just finish the syllabus, because we're going quite fast. Actually, that's good. But my goal is actually try a few things and you get the best at it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now I'll give you one more definition of have you done onomatopoeia? No, you have not. Write the definition of onomatopoeia and we're done. The onomatopoeia is basically a word that sounds like or what it refers or describes. Examples are, what effect is to basically create a descriptive and sensory image. Yep. Sensory effect and vivid imagery. Done, that's it. Finish writing quickly. Take a screenshot actually.
Okay, sir.
Taken. Now, Rachit, I want you to take the time, 15 minutes right now, to finish your homework, and I want it sent to me in half an hour. Is that clear?
Yeah, sir.
All right, then take care. Goodbye. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you
Yeah.
understood what you learned. Good. Take care.